warm-up assignment. Thought it'd be something short and sweet, not too long like the other assignments. Keep in mind that I want you to do this in color, even though I'm going to show you some examples that are in black and white. So the aim is for you to do a drawing that will show a series of still moments, static points in time that link together to suggest either movement or 3D volume in the half round. So the half round is like you're moving around the subject matter in like half a circle. So 180 degrees is half a circle. And so you can think of it as moving from the far left to the middle to the far right, and you're drawing the exact same subject. And with each sequence, I wanted you to change colors. So you have to do a series of 3 sequences. Each sequence will be in a different color. I'm going to say a minimum of 3. Feel free to do more. I mean, if you want to try 4, 6, or whatever, you could experiment with something like that. So I wanted to show you. So I said here, you're going to be emphasizing the 3D volume and or movement. So here's an example of an artist who's really good at showing volume. This is Giacometti. I always kind of feel like he's really good at, I think all sculptors, when they draw, they tend to be very good at showing volume, because I think they're thinking in terms of volume. I always like these line drawings that he does, because it always feels like the contour or the line is almost like he's sculpting like with like a piece of wire, and it feels like it's going on the surface, sometimes like cross contours, sometimes it feels like it's going inside, so it's like internally and then externally. It feels very 3D and volumetric. There are many ways to create a volumetric drawing. I'm just showing you some examples. And when it comes to movement, here's an example an exercise that I do in figure drawing, where I have the model walk around in a circle, and usually I'll have the model pose for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes per step, and the students have to do a gesture drawing, and in the end you have something that looks, you can kind of see the movement, you can kind of see the model moving around. So here is an example of moving in the half round of a bust. This is like a sculpture of a head. So, and it should kind of feel, and when you do this, there's many different ways of overlapping. You can overlap it partially like this, or you can completely overlap it. It's kind of an experiment how you choose to do that, how you want to compositionally arrange it. But again, each one should be in a different color. This is a black and white example. So subject matter, this is my suggestions, though I do think, I'm asking for it to be done from life. So that means no photographs. I'm okay with drawing from photographs for other assignments, but for this one I'm going to ask for it to be done from life. So here's some suggestions. This kind of covers most of the things, I think. You can draw your face, or someone's face, your own. So if you draw your own, you have to look in a mirror. Or if you have someone that can pose for you, you're going to draw them. You can use your hand. And my suggestion is, if you use your hand, make sure that you don't keep... I always have students, when they do hand drawing exercises in class, there's always a student who has the hand like 2 inches away from their face. In order to draw your hand, you kind of have to have at least, a good 2 feet of distance from your eyes and in your hand, so you can kind of size it up. Pets can always work. You can try a pet that's moving, which would be kind of tricky. It's doable. I've drawn pets in movement. Or you can try a sleeping pet. That could work. Still life object, which covers pretty much everything. I'm sure there's some objects laying around your house that you've always thought would be interesting to draw. Or if you have something that isn't on that list, feel free. I feel like that list covers almost everything. These examples that I'm going to show you, I like them because they're in color. The only thing I don't like about these drawings, keep this in mind, is that these are not in the half round. So They're doing three drawings layered on top of one another, but they're not really moving around the subject enough in the half round. But I do like the examples of color here. And one thing that happens, which is interesting once it's in color, is that each drawing can sort of separate itself out. Even though like the orange kind of gets dissolved, it's hard to see the orange one, but it is possible to have overlapping drawings, and the color really helps to distinguish each of them. So make sure you use at least 3 colors. Here's another one. I kind of wish that they would have overlapped this a little more. They're like barely overlapping. You can see here, even though I think the drawings are really well done. I say look and respond because my general tips for drawing from life is to always look more at the subject matter, so the object you're drawing, and less at your drawing. I don't necessarily think it should be a 50-50 thing. It should be more of a minimum of 60-40, maybe 70-30, where you're looking more at the object or the subject matter and less at your drawing. I'm not asking you to do like a blind contour, which you get if you've ever done a blind contour, where you stare at the object and you never look at your drawing. I'm not asking you to go that far, but almost that far. It should always be, when you're drawing, it should be you looking at the subject matter, gathering information, analyzing, and then responding. So you move your hand, with your pencil or your pen in response to some information that you're gathering. So it should be this constant flowing activity of you looking, gathering information, and then responding. And then when you don't know what to do anymore, look, gather information, then respond. Back and forth, look, draw, look, draw, look, draw. It should be this loop. Look, draw, look, draw. You don't ever want to be in a state of mind where you're like staring at your drawing. This happens all the time in class where I'll see a student, they're like, almost looks like they're hypnotized by their drawing. They're just staring at it. And then they kind of remind themselves, oh, I'm drawing this object over here. And they glance at the object that they're drawing, but then they go back to just staring at their object, at their drawing. You want to be staring at your subject matter and less at your drawing. Here's another example. Again, I feel like I like these because they're in color, but they're not in the half round. You need to move more around than these examples. You could even try even an example where you move 360 degrees, where you would draw in a complete circle. In this example, you couldn't do that because on the other side of the model, there's a wall and a computer there. But it is possible for you to set up something and really move around. And if you want to get creative, try more than 3 vantage points. And I'll figure out how many drawings I want you to do and when this is due later. I don't know at the time of this recording. So have fun with that.